So I'm going to play parts of a documentary for you. Um, and oh, I'm going to play parts of a documentary for you called 13th, referring to the 13th Amendment, the amendment that gave freedom to the slaves. Um, and I want to frame this for you. I want you to understand before we watch it. I'm not going to show all of it. I told you at the very beginning that for me, this is not a political issue. This is a biblical issue. And there are parts of this documentary that are very political. And I don't want that to be what you take away from this um, video, from this documentary. And I don't want to divide us. And I don't want to make people angry. That's not my point. I told you from the beginning that I'm trying to challenge you. I'm challenging myself at the same time. And I want you to seek to understand before seeking to be understood. I want you to, as best you can, to try to put yourself in the shoes of someone who is black or who is Hispanic, and and see these things, see these issues through their eyes. Not that you would agree with everything, but just that you would have compassion on some of those issues. Uh, and so there are some things on here, maybe even some things that I'll show you that you will disagree with. And I'm okay with that. I mean that when I say that. I'm okay with that. There are things on this show, on this documentary, that I disagree with. But they challenge me, and they make me think, and they make me process what it is I do believe. And I think those are all healthy things to do. So I'm not trying to be provocative. Much of this documentary is factual. Some of it is commentary. And part of growing up and becoming concerned citizens is being able to pick that out, to pick out what's factual, what's not. What do I think about that part that's commentary? What do I think about that? And I'm not going to tell you what you have to believe. I'm going to tell you that I want all of us to live out a biblical worldview as best we can. I want all of us to be compassionate. I want all of us to think of others as better than ourselves. I want all of us to care for the widow and the alien and the orphan and the poor among us. Because that's biblical, not because it's politically correct or wrong, but because it's biblical. So I am going to show you parts of this, and I'm okay if you disagree with something. I'm not going to get upset at you for disagreeing about something on here. Now, let me give you kind of what this is in a nutshell. It's going to, at the very beginning, tell you about a clause in the 13th Amendment that it frees, like there will be no slavery except in the case of criminals, except in the case of those that are in prison. And that ended up being used not against white people so much, but against black people who were maybe vagrants or publicly drunk or something that didn't deserve a years-long prison sentence where they would then do the job that slaves did for the South to help the Southern economy, which was decimated, obviously, once they didn't have slaves. Their economy depended on slavery. And it follows that through to today with our prison system and things that we have criminalized that actually would have been better served with uh, therapy, with counseling than with drug time. Things like addiction, that people went away for possession of a drug when where they really needed to go was rehab, right? And not to prison. And that disproportionately hurt the black community than the white community. And you will hear people say when they don't realize they're being recorded that it was intentional. This is stuff that I never realized. Now, so again, there's political stuff in here. And this is not a political issue for me. This is a biblical issue. And I believe it should be a biblical issue for followers of Christ. Again, you don't have to agree with it. I'm okay with that. But I do want you to learn from, or at least have your eyes open to some things you might not have known before. Maybe you did, but you might. So with that, we'll watch this. And if you have issues with this and you want to come talk to me, I welcome that. I welcome that.